Fitzy here, back at it again with another one. This one's a little bit different. It's an extra for this week. A lot of you that are following my channel and following the Vic 100 build noticed that in the video before last, my grinder packed it in. I'm sat here this morning now wanting to go over some stuff with you guys about the grinders and why I use what I use and whatnot, and a little update. Well, first of all, these are the type of grinders I've been using for years. A lot of people have gone over and converted over to battery power. And most of the shops you see around now, that's what most fellas got in their shops. The old corded grinders are like the thing of the past, which I don't think they are. They have their place, and they have their place. My channel is basically building stuff with basic tools. And this is one of my basic tools. Is an electric grinder. Now I have a lot of them, or I did have a lot of them. I've had a number of them now start to pack it in the last couple of months. I think it was over a month ago I had one of my cheap grinders die when I was working on the Crown Vic. And a couple of videos ago I had this grinder here. We'll get to this down in a minute. This packed it in. I took out a backup one I had that I haven't used in 2 or 3 years. And this is the funny thing about this one, is that it worked, and then it didn't work. But like when you pull the trigger, nothing. Won't even do it now. No, won't even work at all now. Nope, she's got all together. I used to be able to turn the wheel to get it started. That's determined. Now that worked about 10 minutes ago. There you go. You hear that trying to kick in. Well, that's what ended up happening, and now that's gone. So now I got another grinder that's gone by the wayside. Now that grinder there, I had that when I had my shop, and I'm thinking that grinder there is probably about 15 years old. But it did sit around this shop. When this one showed up, I replaced this one here. So this for about 5 years now has been just sat, hung on the wall. Every now and again I take it out. But there wasn't much life left in it. Now, what I ended up doing, I did have this other grinder, but my guards won't fit on it. I tried everything, putting guards on this and wouldn't fit on it. This is my stone one. I put stone. I like to have 2 grinders. I like to have one for grinding stone and one for cutting wheel. And my cutting wheel, I cut the guards back. And I don't like running a grinder with a cutting wheel on it without a guard, because it'll take the fingers right off you. I turned around and I couldn't get a guard on this, so I wasn't going to use this. So I ended up taking out a bigger grinder and putting a cotton wheel on it and using that. Now this is big and bulky. It worked. I got the job done. If you looked in the last video, you see me cutting up the actual floor on the back of the truck. You'll see me using this grinder here. Now, this one here, the battery powered one from DeWalt. I picked this up a few years ago with the whole intentions of modernizing myself. I did use this for a period of time. It doesn't have the RPM that I like. And these 8-volt batteries, whatever, these bigger batteries, she'll eat them in no time. 2 batteries, I might get a couple hours, maybe, if that. And if you know me in this channel, I can use an electric grinder. I just don't use it for just cutting off a flat piece of steel. I use it for everything. I do all my shaping and trimming, and like I don't use tin snips. That's my tin snips there. I don't use like a bevel shears. That's my bevel shears there. I do everything with the grinder. So this here got me out of a jam, but I found I couldn't keep batteries. I need to get bigger batteries for it, and the batteries for these will cost more than an electric grinder. So you be the judge of that, what you want to do. You can be all fancy and have the big fancy battery powered cutting wheels, or you can just rely on something you can plug in that's going to go for hours and hours and hours. The last one is my air grinder. A lot of people don't have these. These you don't usually see them a lot. This is something I used in the trade many, many years. This is my go-to when it comes to grinding welds, grinding off filler, grinding off panels. It's what I use. I've after going through a half a dozen of these now over the years. This one here was replaced. I replaced it probably 6 months ago, I think it was. I bought a new one. And this is my go-to for doing all like the wells and stuff like that. You gotta have a compressor for this, and you gotta have a good compressor. It's you can do it with these grinders here, but I think the RPM range on these here are a lot higher than what are on these. And for some reason, it just feels more comfortable in your hand when you're grinding off wells. I'm trying to hold on to a grinder like this here, trying to grind off wells. But that's basically all the grinders that I've been using. And the predicaments I got myself into was that I had my main grinder die, then my second grinder die. So what do you do? Now, a little bit of a backstory on this grinder. About 5.5 years ago, a subscriber sent me this grinder. Randy from California sent me this grinder. I never asked for it. He never sent me no saying I'm going to send you a grinder. It just showed up in the mail one day. And I said to myself, wow. So a subscriber sent me this grinder. Now, I've used this grinder as my go-to grinder for everything I've done on this channel. I'm pretty sure I built most of Krusty with it. And, you know, all the jobs I'm doing here, that 49 Chev and the Vic 100 until now, was built with this grinder. It got a lot of use. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about buying bearings and all you got to do is replace the bushings and all this type of stuff. And look, to me, a grinder has its time, and for me to fool around and spend time taking this apart and putting pieces in it and stuff like that, it's just a waste of my time, because I knew for a fact I got my money's worth. I got my worth out of this grinder. Like if you go out and you pay around here, I think it's like $120, I think, for a decent grinder, $150. And if you can get 5 years out of an electric grinder doing what I do, oh, it's amazing, right? I've had grinders last me days, and I had them last months. I usually spend a bit extra on good quality brand names. And this one here is a, I can't even pronounce the name of it, but it was sent to me. We don't get them here. This is one I got online. I'll find out what it is there now in a sec. But yeah, so he sent me this grinder 5.5 years ago. And the other week I turned around and it died. I made a point of saying how I got the grinder, and that it came from one of you guys. And next thing you know, I get an email. And this is Randy. Randy said to me, he said, I was going to send you that grinder. And here it is 5.5 years later, and Randy's still watching my channel. So what did Randy do? Randy sent me another grinder. I didn't ask for this. God love him, that's all I can say. It's pretty well the same grinder, I'm pretty sure. It's probably, there's the brand name, I can't even pronounce it, Metabolical HPT. I don't know. But yeah, it's another electric grinder. I haven't even looked at it. Comes with a plastic guard and a steel guard. We'll get into, I'll show you how I modified them there once. And of course the handle, which I never use. So here's the grinder. Wow. The size of that compared to that one. But the handle is still small. A little bit heavier. But that looks like major heavy duty. It's the same company, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's the same company that I used before. And you can see now that color there, that was there. So I really wore this one out. So I greatly appreciate that, Randy. Unbelievable. You're still watching me after 5.5 years, and then you saw that and sent me another grinder. I greatly appreciate it. I wasn't expecting this. And it never took long to show up either. This showed up last Friday. If you saw in the last video, at the end of it, Peanut was inspecting a box that was out by the door. That was his grinder. I'm going to set this up here now, and we're going to turn around and see what it's all about. And I'm going to modify the actual guard on this here now, so I can actually have it to where I like it, and explain why. Had a quick look at the instructions and sized everything up. Quite an interesting grinder. One of the biggest things that I noticed on it was this quick release. This is an actual, you don't need a wrench for it. So I was wondering how that's going to work with the cotton wheels, but I'll find out. The guard is pretty simple to put on. It just goes on and you can actually just rotate it around by the lock and then it'll lock in place where we want it. Now I will be cutting this down. The reason why I cut it down is, I'm going to put a disc on this first. Now this grinder, it's the Metabo HPT and it is the WE1125 Quick. That's the part number on it. And I had a quick look at some of the websites to see what it was all about. Let's see what this is all about here now. But it's got a 5-inch guard on it. And I use 4-inch to take, no, this one. Then you just take it off that way. Interesting. See what this is all about. But when you look at a cutting wheel here now, when you start to cut, your guard is in the way, so you got to turn the grinder right up, or you got to rotate the grinder around. I like to cut it back so I got full access to the bottom side of this here. What I want the guard for, I want it to guard my hands. That's what I want it for. And of course, my, you know, from my explosions. These here things, when they explode, they tend to go outwards. Like if you ever watch a grinder, if you look at a grinder and you're looking at it and you can see the blade like this here, you're in danger. You should never ever look directly across a blade like this here. You should be looking at a blade on an angle and you can see the profile of the blade. Your cutting wheel is usually off to the side of you. I'm left-handed, so this is my advantage. The switch and everything's even on set up for a left-hander. So I can turn around and I can hold this on the top side of this here. Everything is outside of me. My hand is protected from the guard, and then everything else, when this explodes, will go in all directions. It won't hit me. The problem with this being a right-handed person is you're doing it this way here. Now you're in the zone of where all the grinding discs are too. I always wish that you can actually get these grinders so that they work like this here and work the same way for a right-handed person. This is, I would think this would be more, it'd be safer for doing cotton. But this works out great for me where I'm left-handed, and I just use a grinder like that. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut 2 of these off and figure out what this grinder's all about. I'm going to get another grinder to cut them up. I get up with battery power going, that's what we'll do. All I do is I just cut about that much off them right there. That's all I do. Now this one comes with an outside guard that you can snap onto it this way here. You can put it on over to protect yourself some more. I won't be using it because of what I do, and you know that would probably be great for a grinding stone to keep the sparks off you. But I'm only going to use this one here for cutting. So I'll get this here guard straightened away here now. I think I'll leave it right where it's at and cut it right where it's to. This is all I got done. You can see what I cut off, a little bit more than an inch and a quarter off the sides there. I never get fussy with cleaning it up because all of them are usually pretty rugged that I got kicking around. Here's one that I done years ago. Right, I cut it up. It won't fit on anything else anymore, so that'll be garbage. But you can see now when I go to use it, I got access to the bottom of the blade and my hand is protected. This is what I'm after to protect my hand. This will explode, it'll go this way, and this way. And if it wants to go back this way, it'll protect my hand. Put the blade on this now. Quite interesting how that works. Now the cord is nice and long. As you can see, it's not a short cord, so it's great to get the distance on it. Let's see what this is all about. Plug the cord. Oh, that's stuff. Pretty interesting how that works, huh? Pretty cool. This is not a sponsored video by no means. This is a gift sent to me, and I greatly appreciate it again, Randy. It's amazing that you're willing to do this again for me. But that's pretty well it. I got a new grinder. It feels good in the hand. I can hold it. It is a little bit bigger than the old one. Get the old one here. You compare the overall length of it. You can see that it is a much bigger grinder. It's longer. It looks like it's got more of a heavier head and everything on it. Everything up here is bigger, but the handle here is nice and small. And that's what I always find I have a problem with, is you want to have a grinder you can hold on to, that you can actually work your hold. You know, if the body's too big, it's too awkward to work with. You like to be able to hold it with one hand. But that's basically it. So there you have it. I got a new grinder. Thanks, Randy. Greatly appreciate it. And this one here is going to be the go-to grinder now for how many more years? I don't know. We'll see how long this one here lasts me. And you'll see this in every video that it does any cutting and grinding. That'll be the one. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave this one. I figured a little quick one, a little update on the replacement of my grinder, which is a big thing on this channel because that's all I ever use is an electric grinder. So anyway, I hope the tips are good, and until next time, now I can get to work on the truck, start cutting up some of that rust and getting that done. Yeah, there we go.